Hi, I'm Martin, and I have a big problem. This is the pile. As you can see, I buy way too many anime models, and I gotta get these guys out of their boxes. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna open all these boxes just for you. Welcome to Cate Frenzy. Well, hello, darling. Today's episode will be about Rarity from My Little Pony. And we are doing a review from the Kotobukiya line of Bishoujos by Shunya Yamashita. And I can't keep up this accent because I can't do accents. So we're gonna just switch back to my normal voice because I am very bad at accents. My British becomes Australian and Scottish and it just becomes awful. So I'm not even gonna try. So today's postcard will be a picture of the two mascots. And it's funny because they never have the third girl. It's always just the two girls. I don't even know what their names are still. I still don't know what their names are. Oh, this one's got a second postcard. Oh, thank you for your continuing support. Thank you for your continued support of Ami Ami. We know that everyone is being affected in some way by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and our thoughts go out to all. It is a crucial time for all of us and we understand that things may not be the same as usual. Therefore, if you require special assistance or have any concerns regarding your orders, please feel free to contact us at any time. We hope that the arrival of your order will bring you some happiness during these difficult times. Remember to stay positive and please stay safe. That's a good message. Alright, so we have some plastic, or paper I mean. This is the one I'm most excited about because I love Rarity. She's my favorite out of the main six. Like, intentionally left her to be last because I really wanted to end the pony line, for now at least, with Rarity. Alright, so Rarity comes to us in this plastic bag, and for some reason there's like this big giant cut on the side. I don't know when that happened. It looks like it happened during packaging, so that's kind of weird. That's the first time I saw that. And for Rarity, we have the box. Let's talk about Rarity's box. So for this box, we have the front window as usual. Then we have the My Little Pony Bishoujo Shunya Yamashita art for Rarity, which is very good. This artwork is the driving force behind this series. The Shunya Yamashita does all the artwork for these figures, and it's part of the Bishoujo line. The Bishoujo meaning like beautiful women. And this is definitely going to be one of those ones where it's like a beautiful girl. We have quite a few things on the box, just like the other boxes. On the left here, we have the diamond cutie mark. Some of these figures have cutie marks on the side of the boxes. Some have things that represent the character. For Rarity, we have her diamond, which is her cutie mark. And then for the top, we have Rarity again and the open window at the top. So these boxes are really good for like display in a store because you can see from different sides into the box. And on the back, we have pictures of the model that you will be receiving in this figure. And on this side, we have the full view of the artwork of Rarity. The box also has a little bit of the what I call wallpaper, which is the white pieces here. You can see that there's different things on there. There's clouds, there's diamonds, there's stars, there's balloons and apples. That's just to represent the other ponies, which I've already covered in my previous reviews. And if you haven't seen those already, you can always go back to those after you finish this review. Or you may want to jump to them first and watch those ones before you get to this one. Because these ponies all have the same kind of box, they will all receive the same score of 8 out of 10. Because these boxes are just pretty plain, but they do have nice artwork. The main difference is just the pony on the front and the window on the side, but also the rainbow color. For Rarity's rainbow, we have the light blue, blue, yellow, and purple. That is pretty much all you need to know about the box. So for packaging on this box, we have the plastic that was covering the box. We had the paper that was covering the figures, so it was packaged fairly well despite there being a hole in the bag. But we're gonna open her up. There's one piece of tape on the top, and again, just like all the other boxes, I'm sure I'll have the scallop back side. That's the scallop back. Then we're just gonna open up from this side. Oh, this one's bent. That's not good. This one has a bent insert. See that? The bent insert? Why is it so bent? That's not good. The inside of the box for this one's actually wonky a little bit. Yeah, look at it. It's like misshapen. It's not the right fit. For this one, the inner colors are one tone, looks like. It's like blue and purple. It's kind of hard to tell because the blue's just as light as the purple, so it's kind of hard to tell. That really sucks, actually. Oh my. Wow, Rarity might actually receive a lower packaging score. These ones have been pretty well the same throughout the packaging, so that kind of sucks there. Oh, this one only has 4 buttons instead of the 6. That's interesting. This one came out midway through, so it was between all of these ponies. So I guess they decided to go with the older packaging with the 4 buttons. The newer one had 6. So there's tape going all the way around, so we're just gonna go through all the way around, get the tape out. Rarity is in a bag. You just pop that open like that. And Rarity's pony is in a bag as well that also covers the pony. It goes pretty much all the way around the base. And for this one, as you can see, it's already attached to the base, so there won't be any kind of base assembly for this video. Well, the bag was actually ripped and the box is slightly damaged. So this one actually will get a 7 out of 10 for the packaging, which is surprising because, oh, you know what? I just even noticed even this, like the thing is bent too. Yikes. So this is kind of my fault because obviously because of my pile, I haven't been able to open all my figures at once. So this is kind of on me that I didn't check the packaging when it arrived. And Ami is really good about helping you out if you have damaged packaging or damaged figures. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about Rarity's stats. Rarity comes to us from Kotobukiya. She is part of the My Little Pony Bishoujo line. The line itself is been releasing since 2019. Rarity came out in 2020 of August of last year, and she was $141 Canadian, but that is with shipping. She was actually closer to $112 Canadian without shipping. This one was slightly more expensive than the other ponies, but she's totally worth it, and you'll see why in the review. So we finally have all of the ponies out on the Cate Frenzy table, and it is quite a sight to behold. For Rarity, she is a great addition to this line. Let's talk about Rarity's sculpt and her paint. So for Rarity, we have a great amount of detail here. And the one thing you want to mention right off the bat is just her unique pose. So for the majority of the ponies, everybody is facing forward. But for Rarity, if you want to have Rarity's pony in view, she's actually facing kind of slightly off to the back. And that is something that is kind of interesting for her because she is fairly aloof as a character. She is very elegant, she's mature. So this pose is kind of like that pose where it's like, oh, you want to take a look at me? Well, you'll have to come around to my side, darling, because I will not look at you unless you come to me. So that is exactly what Rarity would be acting like in this situation. And her pose really sets her apart from the other ponies, so that's a great start to this model. The one thing though as a collector is that you don't get a good view of her outfit from this angle that you're supposed to be having her at. Because if you have her like here, you won't see the pony very well, so you have to have her like kind of like this. It actually just sets her more apart. But again, if you want to display her, it's going to be kind of difficult to display her if you want to see the full outfit. Now for Rarity, her hair is very spectacular. It is one of the best looking hairs in the show, and it's one of the best looking hairs on the model. This one has a great amount of detail. It also has a very unique white pearly finish in the hair. So for this one, they actually added the extra sheen because Rarity's hair is very, very well known for being so elegant and full of curls, and adding these little sheens in actually really makes it stand out a little bit more than usual. And I really like the fact that they decided to do that because it really adds some nice depth to it. There's also even like different shades of purple in the hair. You can see that there's a lighter shade of purple, which gives her hair a great amount of depth. And the amount of curls are really quite nice. Now for her hair, it really seems like it's one giant solid piece. There is one piece in the front for the giant bang on this side. Like you can see the line up top where it goes from here to down here. That's like one piece, and there's one giant piece in the back. So this is a much cleaner looking hair than some of the other figures, and that is really quite nice for this figure, especially because Rarity's hair has to look really well maintained, and it really suits the character well. The curls are awesome. I like the curls. They're really quite clean and tight. The great thing about the curls is that her hair adds a lot of character to her style, because Rarity's curls are very like, I'm a mature adult that always gets my hair done and this is who I am. So like it really adds great effect to the character. So that's a great amount of detail there. Now the thing though is that the hair does stick up quite a bit off the body right here, this big lump here, and that does affect how long the face looks, but it actually is in tone with the rest of the character models. They all have about the same size face. It's just that with the big bump in her hair, it actually makes her face look much longer than it should be, which I think distracts a little bit from how this figure should look. But in general, the face is okay. The eye paint, if you look at it kind of closely, it looks like the back eye is a little bit off, and she doesn't look like she's quite looking towards you. One eye looks a little bit off in terms of the direction, so that one could be fixed a little bit better. The face is pretty okay otherwise, like the nose is good, the mouth is fine, but again, it's just that long face, that is probably something that I care about more than most people do. I just think that the face looks really narrow because of the way the hair frames the face and the way that there's that big bump on top of the hair. It doesn't look quite right in my eye. So her face, I feel like, is good, but it could use some improvement, especially with the eyes facing in that way. They don't look quite like they're staring at you. So that might be a deterrent to some people. This hair accessory is also unique in that they actually decided to make it metallic, so it looks like a diamond. We have this nice shiny blue in there too, and it actually goes right into her necklace as well. The necklace is blue and purple, and it also has that really kind of shiny paint on it, and it really adds a lot of pop to the character because these are really shiny compared to the rest of the character. That makes her look like she's wearing diamonds and jewels, and it makes her look a lot more like I'm sophisticated. So it actually adds a great amount of touch to the figure. It even extends into the shoe, where you can see there's diamonds on the shoe too. This whole figure has this sophisticated look to her, and that's a great thing for Rarity because she's a very sophisticated lady. We want her to be as elegant as possible. All the little changes they've done to this figure thus far already have caught my eye. The pearl hair, the necklace being shiny, the accents in her hair as well. It's a little bit more mature than the other figures in terms of wear. It's kind of like a business wear. Now, Rarity does run this business called Carousel Boutique, which is her fashion business. Rarity is known as a seamstress. She makes a whole lot of clothing, and she kind of goes insane sometimes trying to get all her clothing done for certain launches. So whenever I'm cosplaying and I'm making an outfit, I always have this image in my head of Rarity stress sewing. It simultaneously makes her stressed out, but also relieves her stress at the same time. So she's sewing and she's getting super stressed, but she's also like relaxing herself at the same time. And I feel like that's how all people who make clothing feel like when they're making clothing on a deadline. And it always reassures me that I'm not the only crazy one doing stuff like this. There's other people out there who are also doing stress sewing, and it's one of the best scenes in the entire show. So yeah, Rarity really loves her clothing, and you can probably tell that her clothing is probably made by her because she makes a lot of her own clothing. So this figure's outfit is really quite elegant. It looks like she's going out for a meeting with a client, or she's at a fashion show, or she's at her boutique talking to clients as well. It has a really elegant look to it. The fact that it has so many lines going through the outfit really draws your eye from side to side, right to left. I like figures with lots of line work done to them, especially in hair and clothing, because it makes you really take a look at the model and see where the lines are going. So it's a nice directional tool when you want to make your model look more dynamic, having all those sculptor lines. And of course, it also shows that there's a little bit more effort placed into this model. And like for her accessories, her necklace is pretty good. I've never seen her wear a necklace like this in the show. I don't think I can think of one that looks similar to this, but it's pretty nice overall. The belt is styled after like a Gucci belt because it has the 2 CCs there, but it's definitely designed like a Gucci belt because they totally look like this. And then like the back is actually like backless and it's sleeveless, so it's quite unique in that sense. So she has her back showing, which is very different from the rest of the ponies. And then she also has that flared bottom part as well. And she also has that pencil skirt, which is really tight on her body, and there's little bits of slits on the side as well. The purple matches the hair and it offsets the white up top and it matches with the belt. It does have her cutie mark, which is the diamonds, which means she likes things that are shiny and elegant and rich looking, and she is extremely all about making things look pretty. So her diamonds refer to that, I suppose. Either that or she just likes really expensive things. Everything is kind of beneath her, but not in a bad way. Rarity actually has a really unique personality because you feel like she's the Ojo-sama, like the princess type in Japanese terms. This kind of pose, outfit, it totally goes with that, so that's why I'm mentioning it, because like you have to know her personality type to understand why she is the way she is. So I'm going to tell you a really fun story about Tabitha St. Germain, who is the voice actress for Rarity. Basically what happened was we went to a local convention. Tabitha was there along with Andrea Libman, who is the voice actress of Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. We went there to get autograph and also go to their panel. They had an autograph session and a photo session if you paid for it. And we went there dressed as My Little Pony characters. I dressed as Princess Luna, but I was actually a gender bent version called Prince Lunar that I invented. And what happened was, we went to go see them, and as soon as they got sight of us, they were like, "Oh my god, it's ponies!" And then they like took a photo of us. And Andrea like put it on her like Twitter during that day, and we're like, oh my god, we're going on her Twitter. Like at that point, Andrea was followed by a whole lot of people because people love Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. We were like so nervous that our photos would be sent out to the mass like that. We were like, oh my god. But also, when we went to go take a photo with them, like what happened was, I went up to Tabitha and then we were like, okay, grab a photo, right? And she's like, yeah, of course. And we're taking a photo, and like my friend who had my camera didn't quite know how to use my camera, so she was like filming me instead of taking a photo. So we had these like awkward footages of me and Tabitha St. Germain like smiling for a very long awkward period of time, and every single time it was like multiple videos instead of pictures. And you know, that happens at conventions, like you go to take a photo but it's actually a video, so then you're sitting there awkwardly smiling. It's just a convention thing, it just happens all the time. The only thing that makes this better is she was holding like some sort of like folder or binder in her hand, or like a clipboard of some sort. I feel like that would really make this figure be like, yeah, this girl is all about the business. That's what I would feel like. So for Rarity's skin tone, it's much more lighter, and it is also very close to Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy's, and I guess Twilight's too. But for some reason they decided to shade this one a little bit more differently than the rest of the figure. So for this one, it actually has some lighter pink tones in there. So you can see up close here that there's actually more pink on the elbows and the knees, and that actually adds a little bit of more depth to the character, especially to make it look more realistic in terms of paint. So they really did different things with this one a little bit in terms of accessories and paint to make her pop out a little bit more, and I feel like they took a little bit more effort on this pony. It just feels like it. So the heel on this one is actually a see-through blue plastic. Now that's really cool, I like that. See, little things like that really make a difference when it comes to these figures, and I really wish they would do this more often on these figures, especially because it adds a really good amount of coolness to the figure. The shoes have the diamonds on them. They're also painted in that nice brighter acrylic that's more metallic, so it actually really shines. The plastic acrylic is between the heel and the shoe, so like it actually hides it really well because it's clear, so it's actually not that noticeable. So that's also a big plus for this figure. Rarity's general figure is really quite good. Now we can move on to the fabulous Miss Rarity as a pony. This figure is quite regal in appearance. It has that kind of crossed leg. Whenever pet owners tell me that they see their pet in this pose, they usually tell me that they're prim and proper. The ponies all have varying things about them that make them special and stand out. Like Pinkie has those closed eyes, Applejack has that wink, Rainbow Dash has that sneaky smile, Rarity has this regal pose. and it's much more reserved than the rest of the ponies. So when you see it compared to the other ones, it immediately stands out because the other ponies for the most part are in a wider stance. They have much more space between their body, like they're not kind of closed off. Rarity is definitely a little bit more closed off, but it also shows a little bit of a cute side to her as well, so it has dual purpose in the pose. Now for Rarity's face, in vector art, it always seems like Rarity has really big eyes, and that's definitely due to in part that her eyes in general seem much larger than the rest of the other ponies. Like I feel like her pupils are much bigger than the rest of the cast, and also she has much more eyelashes compared to the other ponies. They're a big giant focal point in this figure. Their facial features are actually quite different despite them looking all the same. Again, we have the 3D eyelashes that you see on all the ponies, and in general, all these ponies have had great success in being transitioned into 3D. The great part about this also is that the 3D hair on this one is really good. Now, Rarity's mane is one of the most defining aspects of this pony. She has these amazing curls, giant weaves in waves going through her hair, and there's a great amount of motion in her hair. And you can also see that there's that white line that goes across as well up top. And then on the back side, it's actually a separate piece that does not join to the main part, but it is great because it also has that white line, so it shows continuity with the back of this hair as well. And then it has those giant curls that kind of weave around the hair, and it's really quite fun to look at. Unlike the other ponies, because of the white shade in her hair, it actually makes her hair look really silky and smooth, and for Rarity that is a great accomplishment because her mane is one of her most amazing features, and I feel like every time it's on the screen, like it takes away the viewer's eye because it is just so bountiful and voluptuous and shiny. It has a lighter purple inner tone, very noticeable on the pony too because you can see that lighter purple on the bottom of her tail. Her tail is lighter there, but it's darker on the top there, so it kind of curves around to the lighter side, and that also adds a nice touch of detail for continuity of the show, because you would expect sometimes that the smaller accessories like the ponies and whatever would have less detail compared to the actual large figure because this is your main focal point. But the ponies in this series line have all been done quite well. Now the only one thing that I'm not really a big fan of is for Rarity, her main color is white. Normally in cartoons, white is shaded with like a gray or a blue, but for this one they added in this purple, and that's like to match the rest of the character's color scheme, and it feels a little bit off because it seems too dark on her. It actually makes her look a little bit dirty because of that purple. For the most part, the arms are pretty okay. You can see that they're not like super hidden in terms of like where they were created, like they are definitely separate pieces. This one hides the lines a lot better than the other ones do, especially in the back here because you can see that line where her head attaches right there. In general, it feels like it's pretty good overall. For the base, it looks kind of like Elsa's diamonds that she has, and I have an attachment to these color schemes where it's like the light blues and purples and stuff. It's very, I guess you could say, like Scandinavian, European, Nordic. Again, the bases could be funner. If it had a base like Black Cat, like the Bishoujo Black Cat I reviewed, where it had first thing on diamonds, no, that would have been something else. It has those pegs on the bottom that hold the character in. Again, how the heck do they get them to stay? Because like, I commend them on how thin the stand is, but I just wish it was more complex. But again, with more complexity comes higher price point. So for Sculpt score, this one definitely deserves a higher mark than the other ones because there's nothing really quite wrong with it. There isn't anything that sticks out as a major flaw, and everything is quite well balanced. The line work is fine. There doesn't seem to be any weird blips on the body or on the hair, which is probably something I would have expected on this one. The sculpt will get a perfect 10 out of 10. And for the paint job, the only thing that I have issues with paint job wise is her eye like looking off to this direction, and also her white body on the pony being shaded with purple instead of blue. That's a weird choice. This one will get an 8 out of 10 for paint. Now for overall appearance, this one is awesome. I love this one a lot. The best part about it is just how different she is compared to the other one and how more minimalistic she is. She is much more regal looking, much more poised, and I think in general this figure really stands out compared to the rest of the ponies because she's much more muted and she's much more laid back and more kind of reserved. That gives this figure a great overall appeal. I think even by herself she would have been a nice little like office lady kind of statue. This one will get appeal rating of 10 out of 10. That leaves the overall score to be 43 out of 50, which makes her 86%. She's kind of better than most of the ponies, but not as good as like, let's say Rainbow Dash or Pinkie Pie. Either not, she is definitely in the middle ground of these figures. This is quite surreal to have the majority of the ponies now out on the Cate Frenzy table, and it's been quite a pleasure reviewing all of them. If you haven't already checked out the pony episodes, make sure to check out the rest of them in the other reviews, and that will do it for this week's episode. I'm not quite sure if I'll have an episode next week as I'm in the middle of a move, so if there wasn't any episodes next week, I'll let you guys know. Either than that, I hope you enjoyed the episode and we shall see you again maybe next week or maybe in a few weeks. We'll see. Thank you for watching Cate Frenzy, and we'll see you again. Bye bye. Look at all these goddamn ponies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If each one's $100 or like $150 for shipping, that's like $300, $600, $900, $1,000. There's $1,000 on this table between all of these ponies. Can you believe that? I spent like $1,000 on these fucking ponies. And this is not even like the other pony stuff. This is just these models. You see all the other pony crap I have in the background? These people ruined my life.